Now I was able to get away with not speaking Palm Sunday homily or message to you last week or early in the week. But I'm not sure that I can take that risk again. And dear, like Good Friday, now speak to you about something related to this day. I'm sure that I'm the pastor of a religious church, so you won't hold it against me if I don't speak about Good Friday. But you're not the only ones to whom I speak. I realize that C.O.R.E Ministries International has got an additional following of people, and all of them are not as deep as you are. So I'll do them justice tonight by speaking to them about Good Friday. Someone needs to hear this word. And I'm certain that one of you here may be that person. God sent me tonight to tell you, do not count yourself out. Because Jesus has unusual escort. Do not count yourself out. Jesus has an unusual escort. See, I know that some of you here, when you stack yourself up against the religious standards that have been set up for you, you feel as if the best thing you can do is sit in church and say absolutely nothing. Because when you try to get it right in one direction, there's always something else they say you're not doing. And if you get that one right, there's something else you're not doing. And so you spend all of your Christian years trying to figure out what to do right for church people. You feel as if there's too much wrong with you for you to be right. But I say to you again, do not count yourself out. There is need for me to discuss some critical events leading to Jesus' death. Because these would serve to give you or someone in here a sense of encouragement. Jesus knew for sure that his life on earth was going to end on the cross. He knew that. That wasn't news to him. He knew how he was going to die. He knew his life was going to end on the cross because he said, if I be lifted up, he wasn't talking church, I will draw all men to me. So the equation was, if you die, if they nail you, if they lift you up, then C.O.R.E Ministries International and whatever church you're from could be drawn, and every sinner could be attracted to Jesus. But I studied his life and I realized that Jesus preached with such profound conviction that he made the journey to success or to greatness sound very impressive. The way he talked to his disciples impressed them. For example, he said, no one can kill me. Now that sounds powerful. Nobody can kill me. I lay down my life and I will take it up again. Say powerful. That sounds impressive. If you have a pastor who talks to you like that, you come to church every Sunday, every day of the week, because you are guaranteed that this is the man. Nobody can kill him. He will lay his life down and he'll take it up himself. Now that's the kind of Jesus I want to serve. He sounded impressive when he told them that you shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. He said to them, when you see these things, now look up, because your redemption is near. You see when Jesus talked like that, Peter got courage, and James got courage, and Thomas got courage, Bartholomew got courage, Andrew got courage. Everybody was brave because the master talked like a powerhouse. And then you find now, in the book of Luke, chapter 22, Jesus sits them down and says, let's have some supper. It wasn't Friday yet, but it's important for you to talk to you about what happened before that day. It wasn't Friday, was never day in the Jewish calendar. Since you're English, you won't talk Friday, let's talk about Good Friday. Luke chapter 22, Jesus is sitting with them and he takes the bread, he broke it and said, eat this. This is my body, which is broken for you. He took the cup and he told them, This is my blood which is shed for you. He also made mention to them that the hand of my betrayer is at the table with me. And Luke 22:23 says that after Jesus, of course, gave them a warning that nobody wants to hear, that the Son of Man goes, as it was prophesied or determined, but woe to the man by whom he is betrayed. You see, when Jesus said that, and 12 people started to wonder, which one of us will betray him? Now just for 20 seconds, let me stand in Judas' defense. 12 of them, now Judas only, wonder. It tells me that 12 of them had the potential to betray him. So Judas isn't all that bad. Not one of them said, Lord, I will never betray you. They said to one another, which one of us will it be, Lord? And then we begin in verse 24. Verse 24. After Jesus gives them the blood, after Jesus gives them the body, they have an argument. Look at the argument. Luke 22:24. Now there was also a dispute among them. Listen to the argument. As to which of them should be considered the greatest. Now we're not arguing about who will betray. We're wondering who will betray. But we're arguing about who is the greatest in this bunch. So the first event that I want to focus on tonight is the power struggle. I remind you they did not argue among themselves as to who would betray. They argued about who is greatest among the 12. Now when I just checked the account, the greatest was in their presence serving them. And they're seeking power to determine which one of us is greatest, not greater. He served them his body. He served them his blood. In essence, he gave them his life. And they're focusing on position. See, there's some people who are always going to fight for power, but they don't want to die for power. And Jesus had to teach them that you see me serving you and you argue about who's greatest. He said, in my kingdom, the one who is serving you is the one who's considered great. And the one who becomes like the least is the one who's considered great. And the one who decides to serve the table is the one who I call great. And the bishops can't get this, the apostles can't get it, the pastors can't get it, because we feel the one who is served is great. Secondly, and for this one you need to ensure you be close to somebody because they might fall, they might just drop and recover by tomorrow. Ensure somebody beside you is in good shape because it's about to get heavy right here. The second one is the request. Say the request. The first one is the power struggle. The second event Jesus had to deal with was the request. Still in the book of Luke, let's go to verse number 31. Verse 31, take me there, 22, 32. And the Lord said, now this after he talked to them about who should be great, who should serve, he said, and listen, I'm giving you a kingdom. He said, my Father bestowed a kingdom to me, and I'm now bestowing a kingdom upon you, that you may eat and drink at my table, that's verse 30, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what he said to the 12 disciples. Then in verse 31 he looks at Peter and said, Simon! Simon! Read what he said. Indeed or for sure? As Red said, for real. Satan has asked for you that he may sift you as wheat. Next verse. But I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail, and when you have returned to me, strengthen your brethren. Now you read this and you read this too fast. The first one is the power struggle. The second one is the request. Jesus just said, I will give you a kingdom, you will judge the 12 tribes of Israel, and then his attention goes to Peter. Simon! He's getting his attention now. Simon! Satan has asked me for you! Now just hear what I just said. Peter, Satan has asked me for you. Now English, I don't like it too much. Let me take you to the Greek. In Greek he said, Satan has demanded that he has you. For that he says, Satan, pay me for you, Peter. Why in the world would Satan want Peter and not Judas? He never said, Judas, Satan wants you. But he said, Simon, Satan has asked or begged me earnestly for you. Why? Because of all the disciples, Peter was the only one who always resisted Jesus dying. More than that, Peter was the one who got a revelation of who Jesus is. So look at the combination. He said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now if you say you're the Christ, you are Christos, you're the anointed one. Anointed for what? Anointed to die for the world to be redeemed. Now if Peter could identify him, why Peter doesn't want him to die? So why would Simon constantly resist Jesus doing what he was anointed to do? In verse 32, Jesus says, but I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail, and when you return to me, strengthen your brethren. Now, hold your heart. Look at verse 32. Read it from me slowly. But I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail. Now read the next line. What was the request? Satan said, I want Peter. Jesus said, I'm praying for you, boy, and when you come back, so where is he going? You feel Peter just got up and said, I don't know who he is? No. Rodney, carefully here. Jesus had a request made. Satan is begging, please, I don't want Judas. Please give me Peter. And Jesus said, have him with prayer protection over him.
Oh, Jesus.
Now you feel Peter was alone? Satan asked for you too. That's why you lived in sin for so long. Because he felt he had control over you. But Jesus said even before you got saved, that every man was given the measure of faith. So even though you were in sin, there was still a code in you that said, you may be in Satan's company, but you're not in his possession. Jesus allowed Satan to have Peter for a while. This is the book. He said when you come back from there. What do you do when Jesus grants the devil his desires concerning you? How you pray out of that one? Oh, you felt that Job in this situation? No, it wasn't only Job. You see, Jesus understands that denial of Christ could only have come from satanic influence. Because Peter knew who Jesus was. He said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. So to deny him means, I don't know who you are. Now Jesus said to the same, he said, if you deny me before men, I shall deny you before whom? So the moment Peter said, I don't know him, Peter was lost. But Jesus prayed for him. You see, there's a prayer of insurance. And when Jesus sends a prayer on your behalf, I don't care what you do, you can't out evil the goodness of God's will. Now 5 minutes left, the rest of you know what I just said to you. When Jesus has made a request on your behalf, you can never do enough evil to outdo his request for your goodness. He said, Satan, if you want him, you can only get him after I pray for him. And what will he pray for? That his faith remains. Say his faith. Not his body, not his mind, not his health. Jesus addressed what it took to please God. Okay, so although you're shaking, Peter, and you say you don't know me, I don't want you to lose the ability it takes to come back. Because if ever you hold on to faith, even if you find yourself in a cave, believing is still within your DNA. My prayer for you in this church is that you should never lose faith. I don't mind what the adversary does to you the next 2 months or 3 months. Don't lose faith. I don't care what issue you face. Don't lose faith. If you can hold on to your faith, anything could come your way. You got a problem when you lose faith. You don't have a problem when you have a problem. You only have a problem when faith has evaded you. Jesus sent a disciple in the company under the influence of the devil and still said it would own him because he did not lose faith. The only thing that saved Peter was Jesus' prayer. But Jesus did not pray for Judas because denial was not going to kill who Jesus was. If I want to kill Jesus and I said, I don't know him, that will hurt the chief priest. Because if you don't know him, you can't show who the man is at the Lord. But betrayal was what's going to kill him. Because it's one thing to say that you do not know a person, but it's another thing to say, I know him, but I'll go on the enemy's side. Have you recovered yet? All right, everybody's good? Can I move on? Okay. So now in the book of Mark chapter 14, Jesus is praying now. He went through the stage and he goes to pray. That's why he said to Peter, when you come back, strengthen your brethren, because you will help them to understand what it feels like to be left out in the cold. Mark chapter 14. Jesus is now in the next phase of what I want to talk this about, which is the prayer in the garden. Mark 14. Oh Jesus. Verse 32. Then when they come to a place which is named or was named Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, sit here while I do what? Talk to me, somebody. Then they came to a place which is named Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. And he took Peter, James, and John, the same who saw him transfigured. He now takes the same three and began to be troubled and deeply distressed. Then he said to Peter, James, and John, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch. Boys, I am weak. I feel as if I'm going to die before I get to the cross. Now stay right here and watch. He didn't say to pray. Because at this stage of the warfare, you're not qualified to talk to my Father. Because Peter, I already know you alone. You are alone. And if you go with me to pray, when I say, Father, the hour has come, glorify your Son, I'm ready for the cross. You say, no, don't say that. Don't say that, Jesus. You can't say that right now. She said, stay right here and watch. I'm going to talk to my Father, and I'm going to announce my readiness to die. All I'm asking Peter, James, and John to do is watch. Because when I took them up on a very high mountain, they watched. And Peter had an opinion. But now is my hour to die. I can't handle Peter and his opinion. I just want him to watch with James, watch with John, because since Peter was requested of by the devil, I need the one who asked for him to see. Some of you are preaching for this message till next year. You won't get this in 2014. Since Satan asked me for you, I still bring you along for him to witness now. That although he makes a request to have you, it wouldn't change what I decide to do regarding him. Because I pray that his faith will not fail. And even if you're weak, Peter, and even if Satan wants to have you, Peter, just hand out me long enough, my boy, and you'll be alright. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. Just stick with me. I'm not going to leave you, Lord. And I want core ministries to get the message tonight. You don't disqualify people because they're weak. Jesus didn't abandon him. Jesus took the one who said upon it. So come. I am weak, boys. I'm weak. He confesses his weakness to those who saw him transfigured. I'm saying to someone in here tonight, I may shine on the mountain, but I'm weak in the garden. Can you stand with me when I'm weak in the garden? Are you only qualified to tell me about the mountain? I don't want friends in the season who want to be on the mountain. Because I have a moment when I need you in the garden.
Yes, sir.
You see, Jesus, I remember now. So he went a little farther in verse 35 and he fell to the ground. He fell. He didn't kneel, he fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, that the hour might pass from him. God, let time fly beyond my assignment.
My God.
You think you got life hard now? So he said, Abba Father, or Daddy, all things are possible. Watch the troubled mind working now. Everything is possible. I know that you could let this equation go by and you could save the world without me dying, because you can't. You don't have to stick to this rule if you don't want to, because you're Almighty God. He knows who's the Father. But still he says, I can't run the risk. Because in the garden is Peter, who has been requested for by the devil. And the devil understands the principle of remission of sins. Without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. So God, if you change the equation, Peter is stuck. He said, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what you will. Then he came and found them sleeping and said to whom? Why is Peter the central focus of this whole equation? Peter! He said, Simon, are you sleeping? Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch and pray. Watch this now. Lest you enter into temptation, because there was a request by the tempter from Peter. Peter, if you watch and if you pray, now he told the others watch. Now he's telling Jesus touched him and said, don't be afraid. Let him pause. Now in his moment of weakness, they're sleeping. That reminds me of some of the friends you can hear God. When they're in trouble, you can reach out to them, including some of your family members. When you are in your weak moment, they're sleeping because it ain't that important. So it's only important when you're in trouble. That's the attitude of a sucker. That's a parasitic spirit. Why must my energy be given to your needs only? And when you got a problem, I have a problem, and I confess to you that I'm weak, you have a moment to rest. So how is it that my pain is that important? Peter had all the talk. Peter said, Lord, you're not going to die. I will die with you. You're going down the road, Jesus. So Jesus is saying, Peter, how could you die for me if you can't watch with me? You missing the hope. You sleeping now. All these things are happening. And you resting. But you're qualified to die? I have to wake you up to tell you the people coming who want to take my life. And you said you die for me. Why did he awaken Peter? Because he said you're about to enter into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh has been sold out. So when Jesus was at his weakest, they slept. There was no word spoken on his behalf. When Peter had an opportunity to speak for Jesus, he said, I don't know him. When Judas had a chance to speak for Jesus, he said, I know him, but I want nothing to do with him. But weren't you arguing as to who is the greatest? May I give the church a statement for your life? When people are never silent in adversity, you don't impress me until you're going to talk about all this greatness in me. Whenever you are great, you are never silent when trouble hits you. Why are you so quiet?
My God.
Greatness is determined by the sound you make. Oh my God. On matters when others are silent. All right, let me give it to you one more time. Greatness is determined by the sound you make regarding a matter when everybody else is quiet. Why are you so silent about homosexuality in this area? You passing sissy left, right, and center, and you can't say a word to them, and you're quiet. Why the preacher with this one right here? Why are you so quiet about these preachers who just assume that they can get up tomorrow and become some great man of God, and you have to serve them as if they're God himself? Why are you so quiet?
Come on.
You know the pastor sleeping around the place with his wife, and you just quiet. You just can't touch it, because if you touch it, you got a problem. Why are you so quiet? And you say you're great. Great people don't be quiet.
Oh, Jesus.
Great people stood before heaven and said you shouldn't sleep with your brother's wife. Now you can kill me if you want, but don't be screwing your brother's wife.
That's right.
Why are you so quiet in here? How you could be so great, but there's no issue of concern that you could raise a voice to?
That's right. Right. Jesus.
Where are my great people at in East Orange and the Orange? Where are these great people? All these great believers and things that happen at a flash and people just make decisions in the government and everybody just silent.
That's good.
All right, since the government is too far, as it needs to see you won't go that far, let me bring it home for you. How about your job? Your boss will want to institute all kinds of ungodly measures, and you sit on it because you're thinking, oh, I can't lose my job. I got too much to think about. I got a house to pay for. I got a car note to pay. So I remain quiet in the midst of wickedness. Why are you so silent? Since you don't want me to deal with the third issue, I'll go to the fourth one then. Go to verse 43. Verse 43. And immediately while he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, with a great multitude, with swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and the scribes and the elders. Look at the companies walking in there. Now his betrayer had given them a signal saying, whomever I kiss, oh God, he is the one. He is the one. Whomever I kiss, he is the one. Look, Judas' instruction. Seize him and lead him away safely. You see, I'm betraying him, but I still love him. I don't hate him now. It's not a hate issue we have. It's a problem we have in the circle, and I'm upset with Jesus. Now take it, but don't harm him.
My God.
Some of you got some friends who hurt you, and the intention wasn't for it to go as bad as it went.
Yeah, Jesus. My God.
You see, now I'm upset with you. I don't want to harm you. But I'm torn between dealing with you, dealing with my emotions. See, Jesus had rebuked them over the alabaster box now, so he's upset. And from that moment he sought to betray Jesus, and he's saying, I'm upset, but I'm enough. Alright, let me bring it home now. So you who married now, your husband gone and cheat because he hates you. See, he's mad now, he's upset that you don't want to give it to him, so he said, oh, keep it there. If you don't give anything to me, I'll go back and get it from. He betrayed you, but it doesn't mean he's not in love. It's a dangerous position to find yourself in Judas' shoe. Angry, but still in love. Judas led them and said, take it. Maybe you just question him and ask him a few things and let him go. He didn't plan for that to happen. But when you shake your hands with those to whom the enemy has signed or given a stamp of approval, whatever happens to those connected to you, you're still responsible for. I always say to people that an enemy of my father cannot be my friend. I don't mind how good you treat me. If you don't like my daddy, we can't handle it. We can't be friends because as good as my intentions are towards you, your intention is not good towards my father. So he came and he went up to him and said in verse 45, Rabbi, and he kissed him. Then they laid their hands on him and took him. And one of those, who's Peter of course, who stood by, drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Why did the disciple cut the ear off? I thought the church people are supposed to have people here. Why do we have leaders in church who are slicing people's ears off? And God said they cannot hear because they are bleeding from their ears. Okay? So you preach a good message, but it cannot stay in their ear because they're bleeding from the wound you inflict. Preacher, the message can be good, but your lifestyle has them bleeding. Because it sounds like a church. But when they look at you after church, the word is going to begin to bleed out their ear because they can't retain. You have cut their ear off because your behavior as a believer is not tying up to the word you speak. This is Good Friday. Jesus had to take the man's ear and put it back in place. Say, Peter, put away your sword. What's wrong with you? Look at the equation. He said in the garden to Peter, pray. Pray. Because you fall into temptation. Now they came to take Jesus. What did Peter do? Who directed him? Who had asked for Peter?
Wow.
Peter is still resisting Jesus dying. Alright? Even when Jesus woke them up and said, the hour is here. Those who want to betray me will cut their hair. Peter still is fighting against Jesus dying. And the church interprets it to mean that Peter doesn't want Jesus to go. No. Who asked for him? Then we get even closer. Now we have the trial. And the trial is the next phase. And at the trial, we know that nobody spoke because 11 men are in hiding. And one of them, Peter, is following from afar. That's when the girl said, "Look, you look like one of them."
Hey.
I'm telling you, he said, if you hang around him long enough, if you hang around him long enough, you'll begin to look like him. You'll begin to talk like him. See, I don't mind how much black you put on and go in the club. If you hang around Jesus long enough, you can't hide behind any makeup. Because if you stick close enough to Jesus, his image begins to rub off on you. The girl said, you look like one of them, you talk like one of them, and he said, I ain't one of them. At the trial, no one was speaking on Jesus' behalf. The disciples were in hiding. Peter was in denial. Judas was in regret. And Jesus was in chains.
Oh, my God, my God, my God.
And Hebrews chapter 6 verse 4 tells me that it is impossible to restore anybody who had tasted of the Holy Spirit, who tasted of the good things of God, who had a taste of Holy Spirit, who walked and saw the glory of God. He said, if they fall away, it's impossible to restore them because they crucified for themselves Jesus afresh. Watch this, don't miss this right here now. Because your silence, oh my God, our silence in the city is a sign that Jesus is still in chains. If Jesus is free and he's orange, the churches will be loud. We still serving man and not God. Because if we serve God and God is free to reign in our lives, then sin can't rule in the mortal body. If Jesus is dead and Jesus is resurrected, then our lives is a resurrected life. If we walk away from him, look at Judas. How could you walk away from him after he gave you power to cast out demons, told you lay hands on the sick, empowered you to raise the dead, empowered you to make the blind see, and you turn away from Jesus and go on the other side of the equation? How could you be restored, Judas? The only thing that still has Peter in safety is a prayer.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only thing that might have Peter hanging on by a thread right now. Just a prayer. And some of you feel that that's insignificant, but that's all you need. You don't need a house. You don't need a car. All you need is for God to talk to himself about you. If ever God gives himself counsel on your behalf, your future is secure. Glory to God. Somebody say hallelujah. Jesus. And now we want to talk about the final thing, which is the cross. Luke chapter 23. Luke 23, verse 39. Let me take you to the cross. Then I'll take you to the goal. And we have to run on and this one. Luke 23, let's read from verse 39. Then one of the criminals who were hanged blasphemed him, saying, if you are the Christ, save yourself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, do you not even fear God, seeing you are under the same condemnation? We indeed justly receive the due reward of our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong. Then he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Verse 39 begins with one of them saying, if you are the Christ. Have you heard those words before? When were those words said to Jesus? Jesus in Matthew chapter 4 is led up on a high mountain, and somebody begins to say the same thing. If you the Son of God, You can show the word of true God. You can do all this. Take us down from here. In other words, save yourself, watch this, and save us, although we are sinners. Leave us in a position of sin, because if you come down from here, I shall come down just as I am. Oh, look at the devil, look at the devil, look at the devil, look at the devil. Don't kill yourself, Jesus. You don't have to go through all this. If you're God for real, you come this far. Why you just don't come off the cross, take me down, leave me as I am? And some of us, well, not us, because I only got some people, I should say, don't want Jesus to go through the whole process.
That's true. That's true.
Because if he goes through the whole process, all of us will die. If he comes down from the cross, then I can continue my lifestyle. I am not interrupted. But the day he goes through with this whole event, all of us die. And some people don't want to die because the cross is too painful. But another one said to him, one said to him, what is wrong with you? Now, what is careful here? Jesus now, in the garden when he was praying, he said to his disciples, Peter, James, and John, what he said to them? I am weak to the point of death. Did he say that to them? Okay. In the garden, he's weak. Nobody spoke on his behalf. At the trial, he is weak. None of the 12 speaks on his behalf. On the cross, he is weak. And a thief is talking on his behalf.
Wow. Oh my God.
Let me come to the church folk now. Let me talk to the church folk. I said to you earlier, God sent me here to tell one of you, just one of you, don't count yourself out. You didn't walk on the water. You didn't raise the dead. You didn't lay hands on the sick. You didn't cast a demon out. But when it mattered most, you had a voice.
Jesus.
All right. Okay.
My God.
Because when Jesus' disciples were all silenced by fear, there was an unexpected speaker. A thief, he was, a criminal, a convicted one, sentenced to death, but he still has a voice. Jesus. Now you can touch him in the right ear and tell him, I still have a voice. Now I don't mind what you think about me. I don't mind how low you think I am. I don't mind how high you think I should hang on a tree. I still have a voice. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Now you think the thief was an ordinary thief? No, that's you. That's you and me. We were guilty as ever, but we still have a voice. Jesus, I know I messed up yesterday. I know I messed up last week. I know I cussed out to the phone. I know I cussed out in my head, but I still have a voice. And as godly as the 12 of them were, they could say people.
My God. That's good. That's good. Thank you, Jesus.
He said to the man, I know that I deserve to be here.
Wow.
But this discussion is not about me, because I know that I belong here. And I don't have an issue with the cross. I belong here.
Oh, Jesus.
So the thief is saying to the other one, if you had violated me, I would have had my peace. Now if you talk to me and say, you see you are wretch, you wicked self, I can deal with that. I know what I am, I know what I did. There's no shame in my game. I know just what I did. He said, if you violated me, I may have had my peace. But although I'm not a world walker, although I'm not a demon defeater, although I'm not a sick healer, I am still one with a voice.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
That's it. Come on.
The man turned and told Jesus, Lord,
Wow.
remember me. Now hold on. He said to the thief, this man right here did nothing wrong. My question is, how does he know that?
Hey, that's good. That's good.
So to the thief folk in here tonight and watching by way of internet and stuff, let me just ask you a question. How will the thief know that Jesus did nothing wrong? He's speaking for phone, and Pastor don't talk to me anymore. This man had the conversation with Jesus, but for the cross.
My God. Wow.
For him, I didn't need to be in the company of the 12 to speak.
Hey!
I just needed to watch him. All I needed to do was watch him work. And as I watched him work, I would pay attention to his lifestyle.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
He said, I may have been too weak to follow him in the close circle, but I stayed close enough to watch him work. But now, my deeds have put me side by side, and my cross has given me a voice.
Jesus.
Look at the strategy of God.
Jesus.
Oh my God. When the one who wants to condemn him is beside him, there's always one who wants to defend him right there. Now Jesus is in a peculiar position. On my right side and on my left, there's one who wants to condemn me. And on the other side, there's one who wants to speak for me.
My God, my God.
The man's deeds, the man's life, the man's transgression led him to be close to Jesus. And he said, I shall speak from my cross, not from the cave, like the disciples had. Jesus, this man, he said, did nothing wrong. I did all wrong. Let me bring your life into perspective. Let me first ask you how many of you want to serve God. If they need to ask that, let me go and check again. All right, fine. If you really want to serve God, you have to be prepared to hang out with Him. Put back the picture for me. Put it back again. Let me see what I mean. If you want to serve Him for Him, you might as well be ready to hang out with Him. Because all that you do to avoid Jesus has brought you closer to Him. And it got you so close that they nailed you right beside Him. So there's no escape, because Jesus said, today me you hanging out, they're not coming out for you, baby. You came too far to turn back. I will have you stop right on this cross, and I will nail you like this, so when you want to commit adultery, you still stop. When you want to commit fornication, you stop. When you want to lust, you stop. When you want to lie, you stop. When you want to steal, you stop. Now we said to the thief, you can talk and hang out. There ain't no coming down for you, baby. You can hang out right here with me, and you shall talk from your cross.
Jesus.
I am here to ask you, why are you waiting for a platform to talk from? You don't talk from a platform, you talk from the cross.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
And some of you waiting for the platform to talk when you have a cross to talk from.
Jesus.
Because the cross is a life that you've been living. The cross is the thing you're going through. The cross is that sin you can't tell anybody about. The cross is that sickness you don't want anybody to know you have. The cross is what has you nailed beside Jesus. Now if you can only decide, okay, then there's no coming down for me, I might as well start talking, you're in a good position.
Thank you, Lord.
There are no secrets on the cross.
That's it.
Because you don't know the death. You know it's coming. So I might as well purge while I'm hungry.
My God. My God.
You don't get deep with Jesus when you're hungry. No, you come straight up and tell him the deal is going to be about to go down here. This is about to be over. I know that my life is finished. I might as well tell it all.
Yes, Jesus.
If you still have things about your life that you need to protect, you're not yet on the cross. Shut up.
My God. Jesus.
So Jesus has a thief beside him. And the criminal said, I shall speak for my cross. Now what this? So Jesus is not talking now because he's teaching Satan a lesson. Satan, you tempted me the first time. And I give you the word. I said it is written. It is written. It is written. Now you come back again saying, if you're the Son of God, what this? This time I didn't give you my word. I give you my work. I
Because if you have a conversation with Jesus, he will turn it around on the cross. He will turn it around while he's hanging. I have to become theological here because I know you deep, and those of you watching me, you're always scholastic and you're very academic in your nature, so I have to present to you an equation that you must answer to. I have to talk to you and give you a scenario that you must answer tonight now, because when I've been in church, they told me that if I'm not baptized, I go to hell. Did they tell me that? They told me that. They told me that I have to get baptized or I go to hell. The thief on the cross, a criminal, captured, goes to the cross. He is guilty as guilty can be. He is guilty by confession, not by accusation. Jesus is guilty by accusation. He is guilty by confession. I'm not guilty. All right, then you taught me in church and a school teacher that if I don't get baptized, I go to hell. The criminal says, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus said to him, today you will be with me in paradise. When was he baptized? When was he baptized? Who took him down? Who took him to the pool? Did Jesus come down and say, let's go to the Jordan and be baptized so you can be saved? No. So all of you here who want to judge me, the thief said, I was not baptized. I was not ordained. I was never slain in the spirit. I was never walking in the water. I was never in the boat. I was never one of the 12. But all I had was a voice in mind.
Jesus! My God! Thank you.
I am on my bed today, Lord. And God asked me a question. He said, Nigel, what sense does it make for you to be baptized and quiet? But the one who was not baptized talking, and the people who were baptized in silence, which one do you want? Because the church that it is filled with people who are baptized, but their voice is insignificant. You might as well listen to me preach here. Don't hold me back. Let's go for it now. Let's go for it now. Because you taught me in church that if I'm not baptized, I go to hell. This man was not taken down from the cross until he died and they broke his bone. Yet Jesus took him as the escort.
Unusual.
Because he said to us that your religious rhetoric
That's it.
and all these laws you want to set up,
Yeah. Yeah.
they mean nothing
Right.
if you can't decide to open your mouth and publicly confess me. Because the Bible told me that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And the last man to speak on Jesus' behalf was the first to walk into paradise with him. Glory to God. Glory to God. When the disciples are all talking the word, they weren't going to go into paradise. It was the last one who spoke that got the privilege to walk into paradise. Because Jesus said to him, today you shall be with me in paradise. Not next week, not after I raise from the dead. Now. God, how in the world could you transition a thief in a moment from being a criminal, convicted to die, to being someone who's worthy to show up and have Abraham watching him, have Moses watching him, have Ezekiel look at him, have Daniel look at him, have Jeremiah look at him, have all the great prophets look and say, what the question of, who is this person? He is not a major prophet. He's not a minor prophet. He's not even a disciple. We didn't see him at Lazarus' tomb, and you coming in with an unknown, and Jesus said, yes, I am. Because this one is the least likely and the least qualified, but he's the most worthy. Because when I needed a voice to talk, he was willing to condemn himself so that I could be free of guilt.
Right. Oh my God, my God.
Why are we so quiet? Why are we so quiet? Lazarus the beggar, who was in Abraham's bosom, saw this man. Those who were so godly and led a life of godliness, I would think if you ask me, he was going to take James or John or one of the disciples and say, come to me, boy. But if he did that, then they have both and said, you see, everyone was going to be great. Jesus had to choose me to come. He said, not one of you. He did not choose any one of them. Because this man possessed something that is unusual. How could a thief have such faith? I know you read this 100 times, but let me just let you read it one more time. Let me just let you read it one more time. The man says to Jesus, Lord, remember me. What is saying now? When you come. Say future tense. I'm going to cry. I'm going to leave my regular. A thief. This is a statement now. Don't read it too fast. Lord, remember me. Look at the next statement. When you come into the kingdom. This thief is going into the future and prophesying what Jesus told him. How in the world could you get such a revelation as a criminal? Okay, alright. I can let you say, this man is not guilty. I can have that. How you could know that I'm coming back with the kingdom? Not when you come to your church. Listen to what he said. How could a thief have a kingdom message? As guilty as you have felt about your life for all the years, free yourself right now. Because God is saying to you, in the moment you open your mouth and speak from your cross, I shall upgrade your revelation, I shall upgrade your spiritual awareness, and what you have never seen all your life, you shall begin to see more than the 12. Jesus had to go back and convince the 12 that it was him. This man said, you don't have to convince me, I know you're coming back. You know if you know it should be you here, just remember me when you come, not if you come. Lord, put me, okay.
What will you get, Jesus?
Take you back to the supper. Now the supper Jesus said them, whenever you do this, remember me. The thief is saying to him now, Lord, remember me. Put me back together when you come into your kingdom. What is God, Jesus? The same way that they can remember you when they're living, remember me when I'm dead. Put me back together so that when your kingdom has been established, it will still be you walking again. This guy was willing to say to Jesus, I will always want to work with you from here on in.
My God.
I have to respect this thief. Because Jesus says to him now, if you could talk to me about kingdom and knowing that my kingdom is coming back, and you weren't in the room and I told the girl of them that I put a kingdom in you, you qualify. Because you hung from a cross and got a revolution. And the Bible said that in the 6th hour, say 6th hour, say 6th hour. In the 6th hour, 6 is the number of man. The thief had to die. And from the 6th to the 9th hour, say 9th hour. 9 is the number perfect of man. One man. One man decided to talk. And look at when God chose to die. When there was the last man willing to speak faith, Jesus said, I can go now. Now I can leave the earth because it was not Jesus. It was the one he came to seek and to save. Those who were lost, he came to seek and to save that which was lost. He came for the worst. He said, those who are healed only the physician is those who sick. The thief, the criminal, the worst one, the rejected one, the condemned one, when he had faith, Jesus said, now I can die. Because if the least likely to believe me could believe me and confess me, I could leave now. I could now go. And the earth quaked. And the earth shook. Jesus hung his head. And Jesus died. The criminal also died. But he was an unusual escort. Because from the entry into paradise. Let me just go home telling you where paradise was. Paradise was a holy place for the dead. The word paradise means what is to come. So Satan still had control over the dead.
Jesus had to go where the dead was. Satan, when the man was living, was in control of the thief. All the thief's life now, all this man's life, Satan is ruling it. Satan didn't ask Jesus for the thief because he had it. Now, when Jesus is dead and they're going into paradise, which is a part of Hades, you're just not tormented.
Thank you, Jesus.
I could see Satan saying, now, come, Beelzebub, come here, come. Look on that side. Now I see Lazarus, I see Aaron. How did he end up with it? Now I can understand anybody. I can understand Jeremiah. I can understand all of them prophets. Somebody got to explain to me now. How? It cannot be him. It can't be this man entering here with Jesus. It cannot be this person who I tempted all his life, who I used all his life, who I led all his life, who I made see people money, I made him commit crime, I made him murder, I made him do all this stuff. And you're telling me that when he dies and it's his moment to perish forever, he is in paradise. If I were the devil, I would have made him my grave. I could understand Jesus would. But tell me where this man, who the thief, comes from, walking with Jesus, going into paradise. All it took was faith on the cross, confession on the cross, what this last one here, and honesty on the cross.
That's it.
He didn't go down the path of God here and didn't do it. I thought this was going to save me yesterday. Go along. He said, I am guilty. Let's leave it right there. I am wicked. I'm bad. I deserve it. But Jesus, all I ask you to do, when you come.
My God.
Church, stand and be encouraging. Stand on my knee. Do not count yourself out. God could still use you. I don't mind where you would have found yourself. God still could use you. If you just do not lose your faith. The criminal had faith. If it was an instantaneous faith he had enough faith to get him into paradise. You have enough faith tonight here to make it through the storm. You have enough faith. And I don't know what it is you're facing, you still have enough. You could never come to a place where you lose hope. God is too good to you. Yes, the devil has you questioning stuff and got your mind all ways. Yeah, we know that. But God still has the ability, the love, and the desire to have you with him. Don't lose faith. Would you grab somebody by the hand tonight? Right beside you. That's somebody. See, I encourage you. You don't grab everybody. I said grab somebody, one person. I said, which one of our place? Find one person. And I want to look at them and say, I encourage you tonight. I encourage them. Say, I encourage you. They don't talk church right now. This is me talking to thief, and I know what it is. I know what you're going through. I may not know who you are, but I know you must have an issue in your life you're facing. Say, I encourage you. Speak from your cross.